Welcome back to another video for access threats and vulnerabilities. What I'm going to do in this video is to create some hash values. Now, as a security professional, you need to typically implement security controls to protect organizations against a range of threats, right? And that's where hashing comes in. Now, previously I talked about what a hash function is, pretty much an algorithm that produces a code that can't be decrypted. And I also have a very extensive exercise that I go through as far as creating a hash, decrypting a hash, and things of that nature, right? Or not decrypting, but you get the point. Now, hash functions are used to uniquely identify, right, the contents of a file so that I can check or a security professional can check whether it has been modified. Now, this code provides a unique identifier known as a hash value or digest. Now, for example, let's say a malicious program may mimic an original program. Right now, if one code line is different from the original program, it produces a different hash value. So security teams could then identify the malicious program and then work to mitigate the risk. I mean, we see this, I mean, if you've seen the example, right, at least I see it more frequently now recently, as far as a website that's not really the website that you think it is, and it could be one word, one letter off, or something of that nature. And it's taking you to a completely different website, but you don't know because it's just one letter off, and you're thinking you're at the website that you're supposed to be at because it looks like it, but it doesn't. It's not there. It's literally there just to capture your information. But nonetheless, there are many tools right available to compare hashes for various scenarios. But for a security analyst or a security professional in general, it's important to know how to manually compare hashes. Now, let's paint the scenario. So in this scenario, I need to investigate whether two files are identical or different. So what I'll do a few things, I'll display the contents of a couple files and create hashes for each file. Then I'll examine the hashes and then compare them. So nothing too crazy or intensive, just straight to the point. So first, let's generate the hashes for the files, right? So let's start with listing, right? Then I have two files, file one, file two, again, just to keep it very simple. So I'm just going to concatenate file one. All right, and we can see it's in the hash, right? So I'm actually going to concatenate also file two. So same thing. So we see the contents of both files, right? So let's see. Looks like they're the exact same thing. So that's perfectly fine. So I'm just gonna, even though they appear the same or identical, when I use the cat command, I need to generate the hash for each file to determine if the files are actually different. So what I'm going to do is actually use this command here. All right. It should give me a bit closer. So I'm actually going to do the same for file two as well. Right. Okay, so they're actually different when I actually break it down a little bit this way. Let me take a look at something else here. No, that's good. Just to compare the hashes. So what I'm going to do is actually write the hashes to two separate files and then compare them to find the difference. So let's do. Um, okay. So now I'm going to complete the same step for file two. Okay, perfect. So now I have two hashes written to two separate files. So the first hash was written to the first one hash file, and then a second hash was written to the second to the file two hash file. So I can actually manually display and compare the differences. So I'm just going to concatenate both of them. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm just expecting the output. We can see the differences between the two. I mean, it's a clear start difference as far as the hashes. Now, although the content in file one text and file two text previously appeared identical, the hashes written to the file one hash and the file two hash are actually completely different, as we can see here. So now what I'm going to do is use the CMP command to compare the files byte by byte. If a difference is found, then typically the command reports the byte and line number where the first difference is found. So if I do CMP file one hash, file two hash, uh, character one line. And so it literally, as soon as it opens this up, say, hey, there, I see a difference here. But nonetheless, when I review the output, it reports as you can see here, showcase that the first difference between the two files is pretty much immediate, right? So now what I get to move forward to is the end of the video. Again, I did just quick, straight to the point, nothing too much. Now, as for the conclusion and the recap, I showcased and demonstrated practicality of computing hashes using the SHA 256 sum. I display hashes using the concatenate command or CAT. And I also compare hashes using the CMP command. This is the second, and unfortunately the last video for assets, threats, and vulnerabilities. Nonetheless, I still have a robust library of different videos with not only this particular topic from this video, but other topics within cybersecurity and things that help, or tools rather, that supplement being a great cyber professional as well. And nonetheless, in the meantime, until the next series, stay curious, stay secure.